What's up, Royal Family? It's the King, and welcome to my channel. I am actually super excited to actually do this. I've been thinking about making a review channel for a hot minute now, but I'm finally getting into it. So welcome. And whoo, we got one for you. I didn't want this to be the first one to review, but I just have to put my 2 cents in. I'm sure that if you haven't heard, someone has told you, or you already know. But Mean Girls 2024 is a hot mess. But let's get into it. Fun fact, I actually just watched like the original. I said original? Wow, I can't even speak right now. I just watched the actual original Mean Girls 2004. I was really one of those people where people would try to reference it or make a joke or whatever the case may be, and I just did not know anything besides like the generic ones that you see like in memes on TikTok, like Get and Loser. Like I knew that was from Mean Girls, I just never seen the movie. But actually watching it recently, I was like, wow, like I'm surprised I've never seen this movie before, because the movie is actually really good. I think the message that it delivered is good. It holds very well being a movie that's from 2004. Like, to be in all honesty, like if it wasn't for the costuming and them having flip phones, I probably subtly would not have really like cared, I guess, or grasped that it was back in the day, because it kind of still connects with the current era right now. So I say that because it's just interesting that they still decided to remake this movie, even though the original one holds on its own very well. But if you're not living under a rock and you're very in tune with, Hollywood and all that stuff, you would know that Hollywood is in desperate need of actors. I said actors, oopsie. Well, that too. But they are in desperate need of writers, and they just are struggling to find consistently good content. And so, of course, Hollywood's like, okay, well, if we can't make something new, let's go with what works. But funny enough, what worked then isn't working for them now. But anyways, let's just get right into it. And fun thing, if you didn't know, the actual, well, actually, first things first, what's the difference between the old version and the new version? Honestly, besides that it's a musical, it's pretty much the same, but that's really just it. This new version, this new adaptation is a musical, and because of that, it felt like that was its justification of it being in existence, but I just don't feel like it was. What's crazy is that Tina Fey, who actually like wrote the first one, is literally back at it again. So here's my confusion of how did this movie fail compared to the first one? But I would honestly go as far as to say that it's really because the aspect of the musical. So what they really tried to do was, if you didn't know, Mean Girls actually had like a theatrical version, like it was done live. And so what they tried to do was combine the two of the theatrical and the cinema and put them together as one. And I think that's really just where it lost itself in translation, because for one, I would honestly say I didn't know it was going to be a musical. Like, I honestly did not know. Like, I seen comments and people like, oh, based off the trailers, you didn't know that it was a musical? Not really. No. And I say that because honestly, I feel like a lot of movies these days have been not great at creating trailers for themselves. So I was just like, okay, maybe this is just like a low budget trailer, or, they didn't really care much about, Mean Girls this time around. They just wanted to do a quick cash grab. So I was just like, okay, that's just a trailer, whatever. I had no idea this was going to be a musical. And then the first song came, and that's where my life flashed before my eyes. But anyways, let me not get in my head myself. If you have no idea what Mean Girls is, or you've never seen Mean Girls, or you just don't know the concept, I will explain it to you. Because whether you watch the original, the remake, or even the theater version, you're most likely going to get the same basis of the story. So here's the basis of the story. So we start off with Cady Heron. I'm trying to remember. That's how you know this movie was just like a blur to me. Cady in the new version, she's from Kenya. And basically her mom, because it's just her mom. Like the original was her mom and dad, but now it's just her mom. Don't ask me. That's just how it is. Anyways, her mom gets a gig in America and she's like, okay, Cady, let's go to America. And so Cady experiences high school for the first time. But I'm not actually sure because while the original one made it clear that she'd never been to like a high school before or really had like great social interactions, the remake didn't really explain that. And I think that's really because literally halfway through her mom telling her that she was going to America, she just decided to burst into singing and sing her way to America. Like she was singing and next thing you know, pulled the curtain, we in America. I'm like, oh, oh, my bad, my fault. I didn't know we was going fast paced like that. Which something I would also say too. I would definitely say that this movie felt so much more fast paced than the original one because of the musicals. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Back to the story. Anyways, she's in Kenya. Her mom gets a gig. Now she has to go to school in America. She's in America. Like I said, boom. Like we just hop right into it. Like she just started running through the field. Flip, we in America. And then she's singing, everyone's dancing, people, the high schoolers are dancing, and then somebody bumps into her and she snaps back into reality. And boom, she's in high school. So now Cady's trying to, you know, get around high school and figure things out. And, you know, high school could be a mean place, sure. So she ends up not really making any friends and ends up by lunchtime literally eating her lunch inside stalls because by the time she got to the lunchroom and she was trying to sit down, everyone was like, oh, you're not sitting there, oh. But then, by the grace of these two, I would say lovely, but then is being mean to Regina lovely? But then Regina's kind of mean too. But I think that's something that the original movie tried to actually like explain, is that there was no innocent girl in the story. But anyways, these two nice people, Janice and Damien, decide to help Cady out because they realized she was new to the school. And like Damien said,
we've been watching you all day. You're a mess.
So they tell her to get out the bathroom and they try to give her, you know, all things 101 on high school. These are the people who you shouldn't sit with. These are the people who maybe you could potentially sit with if these are your cliques. Like they basically were trying to tell her that, you know, you gotta find people that are kind of similar to you. You know, gotta find like, I guess like a niche to yourself. And then after them trying to figure out options for Cady, they finally come onto the table of the plastics, which technically they weren't actually telling her about it. She noticed it herself because they damn well weren't going to mention it to her. At least this version around. Which is weird because the original one, they were quick to be like, oh yeah, plastics, cut that real quick. But anyway, she explains the plastics. They are basically the Barbies who girls in the school wish they were those Barbies. They're rich, they're fancy, they're beautiful, they're everything all the girls in school want to be, basically. But we were not introduced yet by the Queen Bee herself, which she makes an appearance, and so gracefully she does.
What was that?
Oh Lord, it's the Queen Bee. Don't look her in the eye!
But that is when we meet the highlights of this movie, Regina George. She is the queen bee, the star. She is this movie. And long story short, she is the alpha woman of the school. And Janice has some quarrel with her. And the reason that she has a quarrel is because...
Why?
Regina started this rumor that Janice...
Damien! Shall we not?
But anyways, Janice finds herself having an opportunity. See, after explaining about the plastics, Regina George flies into the lunchroom like she owns the place and then stumbles upon her eyes on Katie. And since she is the queen bee of the school, she quickly notices that she never met Katie before or recognizes her. And so she tells Katie to approach the bench and literally basically makes her a plastic within 5 seconds. And so seeing that, Janice finds herself at an opportunity. While Katie, trying to be oblivious as ever, or I wouldn't say trying to, she kind of was trying to be all nice and ha 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 and oblivious, I guess. Janice saw this as an opportunity. She said, oh, wow, so they want you to be a plastic? They want you to hang out with them? Well, you should. But we can use this to our advantage. So basically, Janice is trying to get revenge on Regina for the things that happened to her in the past from Regina using Katie. And that is kind of the basis of the story, to be honest with you. I'm not going to go too into detail if you've never seen any versions of it and you don't want any spoilers, but I guess it's really not really a spoiler. But anyways, that's pretty much the basis of the movie. Katie becomes one of the plastics and she secretly tries to take her down within being the plastics with the help of Janice and Damien. But at some point in time, she ends up actually becoming a plastic herself, and that causes issues for the overall plot of the story. Now, before we even get into anything, let's talk about the visuals and, the music. Because honestly, for this to be the basis of a movie, because like I said, for the most part, Mean Girls 2004, 2024 story, pretty much copy and paste. Like literally the musical aspect is really the only thing that makes this movie really differentiated from the original one. And that being said, they could have put more into it. The visuals were generic 21st century movie. Like, it wasn't like whatever lens they were using, it wasn't anything crazy to where like I was like, wow, this is gold cinema. And in fact, I would honestly say the best shots of this movie were mostly Regina's songs. And that was because they used like the editing or lens of like music videos. And so it looked aesthetically pleasing and it went with it. But those were the only times like visually like it was cool. Like the high school setting was nothing crazy. Regina's house, I feel like was smaller this version than it was in the original. Like I feel like Regina's house in the original one was really like Beverly Hills. And this one was giving like $1 million condo, which isn't not that you don't got money. It was just, I don't know, it just didn't feel like as very powerful as the first one. Also costuming. I mean, I would definitely agree that it was better than the original one, but to be honest with you, I just don't feel like they had much of a basis to really, like, I don't know, like, really come up against. Like, that was all the way in 2004, so just off rip, like, I feel like we just live in a day and age where style and design has become base kit. So a lot of people, for the most part, kind of already have some sense of like style or, like coordination with outfits. So it's just not like, like their outfits weren't like, oh my God, like eat. It was just like, just another day in the life of 2024, to be honest with you. And I feel like that was just already just a sign that this movie just was not put, there was not as much love put into this movie than the original one, I feel. Like, I just don't feel like it was there, at least visually anyways. And then also music-wise. Honestly, the music was forgettable. I'm gonna keep it real, and I don't want to be mean, but the music was pretty generic. Like, I would honestly go as far to say the only good songs in this movie were Renee Rapp's songs. But I feel like that's honestly because, for one, she could sing. Two, she was the original actor who did the theater version. Like, so they literally brought her from, you know, on stage to in person. So that was two. And then I feel like for three, she was also just, she was the basis of this movie. But we will get into that in a moment. But long story short, all the other songs were forgettable. Katie songs were cringe. I will talk about her later too. But all of her songs were cringe. Damien didn't even get any songs. The only song he had was when he sang the iCarly song in French. And he ate that. I wouldn't even lie to you. Like, that was fire. Like, he can sing. I didn't even know he was singing the iCarly song in French. When he let us know, let the audience know, like, I was dead. Like, he was committed to this song. Like, he was singing a Frank Sinatra, like, legacy song that was written like thousands of years ago. Like, I don't even know. Like, he put love into that song. Like, he deserves more songs. Like, Janice, she can also sing. I can't pronounce her name very well. The actor, I'm gonna put it in the text here, but Louis, I just can't pronounce her name right. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put the text here. But she could also sing. Her songs were good for the most part. I did not like Revenge Party though. That song was just cringe. Fun fact, if you didn't know, she was actually the voice actor for Moana, so damn straight she can sing. If you watch Moana, you know this woman can sing. But even so, I just feel like beyond that, because I would honestly really say that Janice, Damien, and Jaquel, Renee Rapp, who plays Regina George. I'm giving the name and the actual actress. Jaquel, who plays Damien, and Louis, or sorry, I can't pronounce her name very well, who plays Janice. They were really the top three people who had like the best like vocals / songs within this movie. Every other song was pretty much forgettable, and it's saying a lot because all the other songs there really weren't that many songs. There weren't even that many songs. Like, they weren't even that many songs, and those songs that weren't done by them were trash. But Revenge Party was done by Jaquel and Damien and Janice. But I did not like Revenge Party. But for the most part, visuals and, you know, the score was just no bueno. Like, if I can give them like 1 out of 5 for visuals and musicals, I would give them a 2.5, to be honest. Like, halfway there. For real, like half, because the songs that were there, like, I liked them. They were pretty decent. But everything else was shameful, forgettable. And it's saying something because, again, this movie difference between the original one is that it's a musical. So the fact that the part of the movie that makes it a musical is not good just already undermines the purpose of the movie. Am I crazy or am I not crazy? Like, at that point, you might as well either just start advertising the original one for people to rewatch it, or literally don't make it a musical. Like, honestly, I would honestly go as far as to say that this movie probably would have benefited more if they didn't go the route of it being a musical and actually just remade it. Like, I would have had more fun. But here we are. As for casting, oh my lord, today. The casting was a complete and utter most shameful disaster, at least in my opinion. Tina Fey returns as the teacher, so that's she don't count. The principal returns from the original one, so nah, he don't count. Katie. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. And Gory? I don't think I've ever really seen her do any film or anything. Like, I feel like I've seen her before, but I don't feel like I really know or grasp what films she's done or TV shows that she's done. And while I could have done research, I didn't want to. And I didn't want to because honestly, like, I just don't understand why she was casted for this movie. I will keep you completely honest with you. I mean, going against Lindsay was just already going to be was just going to be a challenge. Like, trying to pull up into her shoes to even play the role of Katie was going to be a hard casting within itself. But I feel like at some point through the casting, they were just like, okay, this is too hard, fuck it, we're just gonna cast somebody. Okay, you're it. Because honestly, she was terrible. For one, she couldn't sing. I'm sorry, I had to take a pause for that. Because did you hear the words that just came out of my mouth? This woman could not sing. And, you know, I'm not gonna hate. You know, God gives us all the ability to sing. Does not mean that we all can sing well, but he gives us the ability to sing, which is good. But Katie was not the singer of this film. And the reason why I feel like this is part of like the bigger issue, to where it just shows again that like this was clearly just a cash grab and this just didn't have as much love than the original, is because how is it that the main character, the person we are supposed to be, I guess, rooting for, or even if you're not rooting for them, following them through the story, how is it that she, the basis, supposed to be the score, the backbone to this film, was not? Like, again, the difference between the original and this one is that this one is a musical. So the fact that the musical aspect doesn't exist, what was the point of the film? What was the point of this movie? What was the point, people? Tell me what was the point of this movie. Tell me, and I will sit back, relax, and shut my damn mouth, because it just does not make any sense. Not only can she not sing, I just don't feel like she was the right person for this role. The one thing I would say that Lindsay Lohan did perfectly, that this Katie version just could not fulfill, was being able to portray being nice, a nice innocent girl, or I would say an untampered or untempted girl, to becoming a plastic. Like, she played both roles to a T. Like, you could believe her being very innocent and nice and genuine, and then when she becomes a plastic, like, you can see like the fake niceness, like her trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm a nice person, all that stuff, but meanwhile she's really a conniving, mean girl. That was something that I feel like Lindsay Lohan like really mastered within the original one, to where when I got to the original one, that when I got to the remake, I'm just like, what happened? What happened to that? Because honestly, I feel like when she became a plastic, it felt fake. Like, it didn't feel like she was trying to be a plastic, or it didn't feel natural. Like, I feel like that's what I would mean by Lindsay played it very well. Like, Lindsay was able to portray being an innocent girl starting to feel the power of a plastic and low-key kind of liking it and subtly falling into it, to where, while she hates to admit it or not, like, she low-key is a plastic at heart. Whereas in this remake version, it felt like after she became a plastic, like, it felt like she was forcing it, like she was faking it. Like, I feel like she was acting as if she was Regina George or something, and it was just cringe, because I just didn't see that aspect of her being bad or anything. But to be fair, again, also, I feel like because the music kind of made the movie feel slightly more fast-paced than the original, there were a lot of things that I feel like were lost in translation. But also, I feel like that's because this musical was singing too damn much. Like, I feel like every 5 minutes we were singing. And I'm like, okay, we're a musical, but we don't gotta sing our way through the entire movie. It's so real that one of the most, I would say, craziest scenes of the movie, which I'm sure you heard it by now or seen it before, which is, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm sure you heard of it or seen it by now, which is Regina George getting hit by a bus. In this version, it was so unimportant to them that they decided to have it playing, and they decided to have that scene playing in the background in one of Janice's songs. Oh, this movie. But anyways, back to casting. Katie was just a big fat and oh no, like, unbelievable that they casted her, but unbelievable that this is really who they decided to go through with in the final act. Because honestly, I didn't even finish the ending. I won't lie to you. Like, as soon as they got to the bathroom scene, I was done with the movie. I had no idea what happened. I don't know what happened at the end of the movie. I want to keep it real with you. I walked away from the movie because I was just done at that point. But anyways, Katie, forgettable. I'm gonna start with all the forgettable people and then work my way up because it's just easier that way. Karen. Karen was played by Avantika. Oh my lord, today. Wow. I don't know where to place her. I want to say that she was not a good casting, but I want to say she was a good casting at the same time. And this is where I am with it. I feel like she played Karen decent, but it was too much, if that makes sense. But I don't think it's her fault. And this is what I mean by that. Like, this version of Karen, same cloth as the original. Like, a Bitsy to the T. Like, a true Bitsy. Like, when I say this woman is dumb as hell, like, this woman is dumb as hell. Like, dumb as hell. Like, to the bottom of the ground, dumb. But I think that's really where I'm like, I don't know where to place her, because I feel like they made her way too dumb. Like, there's dumb, and then there's Karen in Mean Girls 2024. Like, they made her so obliviously dumb that I was just like, why? Like, why? We didn't need Karen to be that. I feel like that was probably why they were probably trying to make her more dumb to, I guess, feel more funnier or feel different than the original one. Like, oh, she's more dumber now. I was okay with the same level of dumb. I was okay. In fact, I would say some scenes of her, she just looks lost. Like, she literally looks like her brain is using only 0.0000251%, and the other side of her brain is just stalling. Like, it's just stalling. Like there was one of the scenes where they're explaining the rules of being a plastic, and after Regina leaves the table to go get food, like she literally just looks at her and she looks at Katie and just does this like snark, like like, and I'm just like, what? Like Karen in the original was dumb, but she wasn't like obliviously dumb. And that's why I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I would definitely say that she did well being a dumb girl. I just feel like they dumped her too much, and that's where I'm just like, that's why she's just down here at the low tier, because I don't feel like it's her fault. I think the script that they gave her was just no bueno.
So,
And then we have Miss Woods, Phoebe Woods, playing Gretchen. Now, if you recognize her, you probably recognize her from Love, Simon. She played Lake. I would definitely say she did pretty decent. She definitely differentiated herself from the character that she played in Lake. They were definitely two different characters. You're probably wondering why I mentioned that. I would say that that's obviously a good recommend, because there are some, actors who find it very hard to find their footing into doing other roles. Like, they'll play other roles, but they still feel like they're playing the same character throughout different films and adaptations. It's like they can't truly grasp that character to really make it differentiated from the other one. But no, like, I really felt like she played an entirely different person than she did in Love, Victor, Lake. So I will commend her on that. But honestly, I just feel like Gretchen, I don't feel like they really knew what they wanted to do with Gretchen this time around. And I say that because I feel like, for one, they definitely wanted everyone to have a song, like to sing, which is crazy because Damien didn't get his own solo song. Like, the only solo song he had was him singing the iCarly song in French. But I mean, like, an actual solo song to where like it had something to do with like the aspect of the musical. Like, that was more so him just singing a song at the talent show, and like he didn't really get like his own personal song, but everyone else did. But anyways, I feel like because of that, they gave Gretchen this song. I was supposed to explain her feelings and how she felt, kind of giving like a little insight to her dynamic with Regina, but also just overall of her confidence in herself. But I'm trying to understand why, because I don't feel like they went anywhere with it. Like, they didn't really develop Gretchen as a character in order for the song to follow through. And in typical fashion, we still followed the original story, in which Katie kind of used Gretchen as the weakling to get info on Regina, so Katie can use that against Regina. I know I said I wasn't going to spoil the movie, but honestly, I'm not really spoiling it, because to be honest, I feel like even after hearing this and watching it, it won't be the same experience, at least if you watch the original. But anyways, I just don't feel like Gretchen, like, I don't feel like they knew what they wanted to do with Gretchen, because again, like, I don't feel like they really went anywhere with the song. Like, the song really didn't lead to anywhere. And I'm gonna keep it 100% honest. I did not watch the ending of this movie. Like, I clocked out of this movie as soon as we got to the bathroom scene at the dance, because I was just done at that point. I was like, honestly, Regina gets hit by a bus in the background, and now it's just the end. Like, yeah, no. I was done. My time was wasted, and I was not wasting any more time. So I'm gonna keep it very transparent with y'all. I didn't see the ending, so I don't know how they ended the movie. I only say that because in the original one, even though the plastics kind of separated, they kind of still had a mutual respect for each other. I would say more so Katie and Karen actually stayed like friends, but everyone else, they were kind of just like mutual respect. They didn't hate each other, but they weren't like buddies either. So I only say that because I don't know if they redid that in the remake, but even so, that's not really like a development based from the song. Like, I really just don't understand where the song came from. Like, it was almost as if Gretchen was was giving a cry for help with the song, but Katie was just like meh, and no one else really took it seriously to where it was just like, okay, she just sang a sad song, and movie continues. So that's why I'm just like, I don't even know. I don't even know. Gretchen was just there, and I feel like the same with Karen. At least Karen, you just knew what you were getting with Karen. I cannot say the same for Gretchen. I don't know. But that was Gretchen. Then we have, I'm not very good at pronouncing this name, but I'll put it here. But the person who plays Janice, I would definitely say she will probably be the third top best character in this film. I would say that because honestly, the bars are very low. There's not many people in this movie. I'm not gonna mention Aaron or the person who plays Aaron. I didn't even bother to look his name up. I think it's Christopher or something. I can't remember. Aaron was lackluster. He didn't sing in this movie, and I found out why. It was because he didn't want to sing, and they finally agreed to bring him on. And and he didn't have to sing, and he was fine with that. So he ended up landing the role and was just like, okay, I don't have to sing, so that's fine. And yeah, that's why I mentioned him, because he was kind of just there. Like, he didn't sing, he didn't really do anything, he didn't really have no dynamics to the movie whatsoever as well. Especially that there really wasn't a lot of screen time with him and Katie. Again, I would say the musical and the musics and the songs took time out of the movie to where some of the things got lackluster from the original. Like the original, there were actually moments where Katie and Aaron had moments, like for the part, like for example, when she tried to make herself kind of be dumb and get tutored by Aaron. You feel me? Whereas this one, it was kind of just more like a montage for us to just like know. Like I didn't really see that much or really feel that connection from either of them. To where by the time, because I know like I did see some clips of them like kissing at the end of the movie, like by the time they got together, like it didn't like, I don't know how you guys felt, but it didn't feel genuine. Like I didn't genuinely feel like Katie and Aaron had a connection. I feel like it was really just copy and paste from the original. So that's why I skipped Aaron, if you were wondering. But Aaron, lackluster. Back to Janice. The actor who played Janice, because again, I'm just not good at pronouncing her name. I think she definitely would be the third best casting in this movie. She can sing, she can act. I would definitely say they kind of made her slightly more nicer than the original one, which I wouldn't say was terrible. I guess it just felt weird because I'm just so used to Janice's like I wouldn't say like she's mean. I would say Janice has like a, I don't know how to describe her personality. It's like feisty, but also like fun at the same time. Like she's having a good time being feisty. Like I don't know how to explain it. I just don't think that was something that she was able to really portray in this version. But her version was still cool. I liked it. And I liked that she genuinely tried to be a friend for Katie. Not that she wasn't in the first movie, but I feel like you really felt more so her being genuine as a friend in this version than the last one. I would say that. So, and again, bars were not high, so she would definitely be the third best actor. Second best casting / actor was Jaquel. Hands down. Like he was definitely, which we all know who the first person is, but he was definitely the second person who carried this film on his back. The comedy relief. He's a great singer. He's actually a good actor as well. And I would actually love to see him do more roles, because honestly, besides the #1 person, he was the only other person that I was really like looking forward to see. Like, he really kept me entertained every scene that he was on, and I really enjoyed his presence. So definitely, hands down, good casting. Especially that I really like Damien in the original version. So the fact that they were able to find someone that I would say he's different. Like, I would definitely say he's definitely different than the original Damien. I would definitely say that. But he still feels like Damien at the same time. Like, he's a different version of Damien, but you still know that's Damien. And I like that because I really loved both versions of the original and the remake. Like, I like them for their own different versions, but I also can appreciate the art of that they were still able to take the core of the original Damien and make their own version of this Damien. I said Damien, sorry. Damien, and still, you know, make this character, you know, be loved or be entertaining for the audience. So I really did enjoy that. So definitely second best casting / actor to count. And we all know who's #1. Miss Goddamn Renee Rapp. At this point, I feel like they just made this movie for her. I'm not even saying that to BS y'all. Like, at this point, I really do mean, like, I feel like they made this movie for her. She had the best song. She was the best actor within this entire film. She gave the energy of this movie. She carried this movie on her pedestal, especially that she had the most screen time. I would say, I wouldn't say she had the most. Like, I mean, I guess it's she kind of did have the most screen time with Katie, but just Renee Rapp was just everything of this movie. She had the best songs. She looked the best. She acted the best. She had the best line. She just carried this movie on her back. She carried it. There's nothing left to say besides that. Like, she was the perfect casting for Regina George. And one thing I did like about this version is, again, the same thing. It's like they took the core parts of Regina from the original, but still was able to make their own version that was still entertaining for the audience. Because I would definitely say that she isn't completely the same as the original, but she isn't completely different as well. And I just really, I appreciate the art of that. And again, just top tier. Like, she carried this movie on her back. I don't know what else to say. Like, there's really, again, this movie, the bars were low. But of course, the Queen Renee Rapp was on top. And now I think that just comes to my overall basis of this movie, which is honestly, because I'm not gonna like put like a number to it or anything. Like, this movie has been out for weeks now. Like, I'm sure it's already being planned, if not has already hit streaming services already. That I'm sure, because I don't have like, what was it under? Is it under Paramount? I don't remember the company who did the film. I can't remember the logo in the beginning. I'm sorry. But whoever that company is most likely planning to put it on the streaming service ASAP. And I ain't mad at them, because the way that box office hit, yeah, I think that might be the best way y'all can get audience, if y'all can even get audience. But I think the reason why I really wanted to make this my first movie review is, honestly, it's just very interestingly scary of how writers are kind of squibbling in Hollywood. I would definitely say that it's come very rare for writers to really make a good TV show or movies these days. And it's really showing, because it's just so crazy how Mean Girls, which I even said earlier in this video, and I've even seen other people, whether it's reviews or in person or whatever the case may be, would honestly agree that Mean Girls, the original, for the most part, really still holds up 20 years later. So again, like, why did this movie need to exist? And it's scaring me because it's just like, wow, like Hollywood, I feel like is really in desperate need of writers. If they're taking a movie that did good and is still iconic to this day and fucked it up, like what does that say for the future of cinema? Seriously. And that's really why I wanted to review this, because I'm just like, I just don't feel like this movie was justifiable for itself. Again, overall about this movie, the only difference between the original and this remake is the musical aspect. And the fact that the musical aspect wasn't really good, it kind of just undermines the rest of the movie, because everything else just is copy and paste. And while you may think that's all cool and well for the person who's seen the original before, it kind of becomes lackluster, especially for those who don't like musical. And I would really say that the trailer did not really explain that it was a musical as well. And I feel like we shouldn't lie to the audience. Like Wonka, I didn't see Wonka yet. I'm planning to see it. But that was also a musical. And who would have known from that trailer? And I heard that Wonka was good. But the point about it is, if you're gonna make a musical, be upfront about it. Be real with it and be true to the movie. I feel like that's really why I just wanted to make this my first review, because I'm just like, because I'm most likely going to be reviewing all around movies, whether it's good, whether it's bad. But if I can give a message to Hollywood, is honestly, literally think before you release. Like, seriously, I think it's crazy that they thought that this movie was worth people's times to pay. Like, seriously. Like, I'm sure people have probably already stopped you. I wish I could have stopped people from going to movie theaters to see this movie. And if I can stop you right now, I'm not gonna tell you not watch. I'm not gonna tell you not to watch the movie. But do not spend your money on this movie. Like, if it costs you no extra cost to watch this movie via streaming, or family members is able to help you watch the movie, or whatever the case may be, do it. If you want to waste about 2 hours of your life, that's on you, buddy. Don't say I didn't warn you. You feel me? But no, it shouldn't be that way. We should not be getting to a point where we're wasting money to see trash. 2 hours of your life you can't get. A lot can happen in 2 hours. I'm not saying the world's gonna end. I'm just saying this cannot be the movies that we are releasing now. And boy, I have more lists to come, because there are more movies like this that I will be reviewing. But anyways, I'm going to cut it here. Overall basis of how I feel about this movie is honestly, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I was a huge fan of the original. Like, I like the original, don't get me wrong. But I'm not gonna sit here and cry and be like, oh no, this is so stupid. I'm not gonna be one of those reviewers. I'm not one to complain or to really be like very angry. Because at the end of the day, this took people's times. Like, people spent months on this. Whether the project became good or bad, like, people put money and dedication into this film. So I can't completely throw all my anger at everyone, because there's different aspects. Sometimes movies goes through different directors, different channels. It cancels, gets brought back again, someone revives it. There's a lot of things that goes back into the background. But honestly, if you're listening to, if anyone in Hollywood is listening to this, think truly before even production, because I just find it crazy how Tina Fey, who was the original writer of this film, failed at remaking it. Like, that is scary. Like, someone who did it right redid it and did it wrong. Like, I don't even know that's heard of. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that before. Like, a writer remake their own movie and fail the second time. Like, that is scary. And that just tells you, well, the current state of Hollywood. So if you're a writer and you feel like you got good stories, run to Hollywood right now because they need you. Oh Lord. And again, please do not waste your money on this film. If you want to watch it, please watch it at no extra cost because if I could rate this movie, I would give it a 5 out of 10. I'm giving it a 5 because honestly, Renee Jekyll and I can't really pronounce her name, but the person who plays Janice, top three of this goddamn movie. Everything else wasn't worth it. Was not worth it. And if you want to waste about 2 hours, if you could watch it for free, at your own peril. But again, don't say I did not warn you. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope I kind of wasn't all over the place. Please give me some comments down below. This was my first review, so I'm still trying to get used to making like a format and basis of how I make my videos. I was actually following a PowerPoint now because I gotta have my little notes, you know. But please give me all your comments, your feedback. That really helps me. That helped me grow the channel. And I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys consider subscribe, I would really appreciate that. I hope to see you guys into the next video. You guys have a great night and welcome to the royal family. I'll catch you guys in the next one.